Your heart has kept its rhythm without your instruction. Your breath has entered and left thousands of times while your mind was busy somewhere else. Your body has carried warmth to your hands, closed small wounds, digested meals, renewed cells, and moved you through long days without asking you to manage every hidden task. Morning has arrived without being pulled toward you. Evening has come without your permission. Tides have risen and lowered. Clouds have crossed wide skies. Seeds have opened beneath dark soil. The earth has turned through every hour you thought you had to hold together. So much has been happening without your grip. So much has been carrying you while you believed you were carrying everything. There are forces of order already moving through your life. There is a quiet wisdom in your body. There is a rhythm in nature. There are people making choices you cannot supervise. There are doors closing where you cannot stand guard, and other doors preparing to open where you cannot yet see them. Even now, things are shifting beyond the reach of your hands. You do not need to control all of it for life to continue. You never did. Still, it makes sense that you tried. It makes sense that you learned to hold tightly. It makes sense that your mind began checking the future before the present had even finished. It makes sense that you looked for signs, repeated conversations, studied every silence, and tried to find certainty in every small change. You were not trying to make yourself tired. You were trying to feel safe. You may have called it being responsible. You may have called it staying prepared. You may have said, "I just need to think this through one more time." And then one more time became 10 more times. A message came in, and you read it again before answering. You looked at the words, then at the spaces between the woes. And you wondered whether the short reply meant distance. You wondered whether the delay meant disappointment. You searched for a meaning that would let you prepare before anything could surprise you. You may have rewritten your own response several times. You made it softer, then clearer, then shorter. You removed a sentence because it sounded too needy. You added another because the first version sounded too cold. You tried to create the exact set of words that would prevent misunderstanding, rejection, conflict, or loss. That was not weakness. That was a tired heart trying to build safety from perfect sentences. There may be mornings when you reach for your phone before you have fully returned to yourself. Your eyes are barely open, but your mind is already asking what changed while you were away. You check the time. You check for replies. You check news, numbers, plans, and signs. You look for proof that nothing slipped out of place while you rested. Sometimes the checking brings relief for a minute. Then the mind finds something else, a new detail, a different tone, a task you forgot, a person you need to call, a result that has not arrived, a future that has not explained itself. Your body may still be in bed, but inwardly you are already standing at attention. You may know this feeling well, the sense that if you stop watching, something will go wrong. If you stop planning, Someone will be disappointed. If you stop trying to understand, you will miss the one clue that could have protected you. If you stop holding everyone together, the whole day may scatter. So you keep one part of yourself awake all the time. Even in calm moments, you listen for the next demand. Even when someone says, "It is fine," you may study their face to make sure. Even when a problem is solved, you may ask whether another problem is forming behind it. Even when you are loved, you may prepare for the moment love changes. Even when life is quiet, you may not fully enter the quiet. You stand near it. You watch it. You wait to see whether it can be trusted. This is how holding becomes a habit. It does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like being the one who remembers every detail, the one who keeps track of everyone's needs, the one who notices changes in mood, the one who stays useful so there will always be a reason to be kept close. You may carry calendars in your mind that no one asked you to carry. You remember birthdays, bills, promises, medicines, appointments, deadlines, moods, and unfinished conversations. You remind others. You follow up. You make sure. You check again. And when no one notices how much you are holding, you may tell yourself it is easier to do it alone than to explain. There may be people in your life whose choices have become another full-time task inside you. You think about what they should do. You worry about what they might do. You imagine the words that could wake them up, change them, calm them, or make them finally understand. You practice the conversation in your head. You find a better argument. You search for the right moment. Then the moment comes, and perhaps they do not respond as you hoped. So you return to the inner conversation. You change your approach. You carry their lesson for them. You carry their consequences before they arrive. You carry the hope that your care can become control if you care hard enough. This can happen with people you love deeply. A child, a partner, a parent, a friend, someone who is struggling, someone who does not see what you see, someone whose path frightens you because you cannot walk it in their place. Love can become tense when fear takes over. Care can become watchfulness. Support can become silent supervision. You do not do this because you want to take away another person's freedom. You do it because uncertainty feels painful and action feels safer than waiting. You may also try to manage how others feel about you. You read the room. You adjust your voice. You make yourself brighter when someone is uncomfortable. You become smaller when someone seems threatened. You explain more than necessary because being misunderstood feels dangerous. You may apologize before anyone says they are hurt. You may say yes before checking whether yes is true for you. You may offer help while your own energy is already low. You may keep peace on the outside by pushing your own truth further down. Then later, When you are alone, the truth rises. It may rise as irritation. It may rise as heaviness. It may rise as tears that seem to come from nowhere. It may rise as exhaustion that sleep does not fully touch. A part of you has been working without rest. It has been measuring, adjusting, preventing, smoothing, solving, predicting, and preparing. It has been trying to earn calm by removing every possible reason not to feel calm. But calm cannot be earned that way. There is always another unknown. There is always another person whose thoughts you cannot enter. There is always another turn in the road that cannot be seen from where you stand. There is always a tomorrow that refuses to arrive early just because you have worried about it. You may have tried to think your way into certainty. You may have believed that enough planning would remove every risk. You may have treated every decision as if one wrong choice could close the whole future. So you compare. You go back and forth. You ask 3 people, then 5. You search for more information after you already have enough. You wait for complete confidence before moving. Or you move quickly because waiting feels unbearable. And then you question the move you made. The mind says, there must be a perfect answer. Then, when no answer feels perfect, the mind says, keep looking. You may spend hours trying to solve a moment that has not happened. You picture the meeting. You picture the reaction. You picture what you will say if they say this. You picture what you will do if the plan fails. You picture how you will recover from a loss that has no to come. By the time the real moment arrives, you have already lived through many painful versions of it. This is one of the hidden costs of holding too tightly. The body cannot always tell the difference between an event and a vivid rehearsal of the event. The shoulders rise, the jaw firms, the belly hardens, the breath becomes shallow, the hands stay ready as though they must catch something before it falls. You might tell yourself that you are just thinking. Your body may feel as though it is guarding a doorway. There can be another kind of grip too, the grip on timing. You may have an inner calendar that says where you should be by now. What should have happened? Who should have stayed? What answer should have come? How much healing should already be complete? How much progress should be visible? You look at the date and turn it into a judgment. You look at someone else's path and turn it into a deadline. You look at your own life and wonder whether you missed the moment meant for you. Then urgency enters. You push. You chase. You try to make a closed thing open because you are afraid that waiting means losing. You try to pull an answer from silence. You try to force clarity from a season that is still becoming clear. You try to make another person ready. You try to make yourself ready. You may say, I should be over this. You may say, I should know by now. You may say, I cannot keep waiting. These words can sound strong, but often they come from fear. They come from the belief that life is withholding something, that time is moving against you, that you must hurry before the good disappears. This belief can make every delay feel personal. A slow reply feels like rejection. A postponed plan feels like failure. A closed door feels like proof. A quiet season feels empty. But a quiet season is not always empty. A delay is not always denial. A closed door is not always punishment. And the absence of visible movement does not mean nothing is moving. You know this in some places. You have seen plans change and later understood why. You have wanted something that would not have cared for you well. You have grieved an ending that made room for a truer beginning. You have feared a pause that gave you time to become stronger. Still, when you are inside the waiting, memory can disappear. The mind wants proof now. The heart wants relief now. The body wants the signal that it is safe to soften now. That longing is not wrong. You are not wrong for wanting an answer. You are not wrong for wanting love to stay. You are not wrong for wanting work to feel secure, money to feel steady, family to be well, or the future to make sense. The pain begins when you believe your fear must supervise every step. Fear is loud because it wants to help. It points at every open question. It shows you everything you could lose. It reminds you of what happened before. It says, "Do not be surprised again." So you brace. You may brace before good news because good news could change. You may brace before love because love could leave. You may brace before rest because rest could make you less prepared. You may even brace before joy, as though enjoying it fully could invite its opposite. This is a very old kind of protection. It asks you to suffer early so pain cannot arrive first. It asks you to imagine disappointment so disappointment will feel familiar. It asks you to keep one hand around the future even though the future has no handle. There are days when this protection looks like overwork. You finish one task and begin another before your body can register completion. You keep adding. You keep improving. You keep proving. You tell yourself that rest will come after everything is done. But everything is never done. Life keeps making new edges. There is another email, another room to clean, another bill, another decision, another person to help, another idea about how you could have done better. If rest depends on a world with no unfinished tasks, rest will always be delayed. There are also days when holding looks like waiting for permission. You know what you want to say, but you wait for someone else to make it safe. You know what boundary you need, but you wait until no one will be upset. You know what step feels honest, but you wait for certainty that no one can give. So life becomes a series of almosts, almost speaking, almost choosing, almost beginning, almost leaving what has already ended inside you. You may hold on to old roles because others know you there. You may keep being the strong one, the easy one, the forgiving one, the available one, the one who never asks for much. These roles may once have protected connection. They may have helped you survive difficult rooms. But a role can become heavy when the real person inside it needs air. You may not even know how tired you are until someone asks what you need. Then the mind goes blank. You know what everyone else needs. Your own answer feels far away. This is not because you have no needs. It is because attending to them may have felt unsafe, selfish, inconvenient, or impossible for a long time. So you learned to be needed. Being needed gave you a place. Being useful gave you value. Being in control gave you a little distance from helplessness. No wonder the hands do not open quickly. No wonder the mind resists silence. No wonder waiting can feel like standing without support. The grip is not only in your thoughts. It can live in the way you move through a room. You may walk quickly, even when there is no rush. You may eat while reading. You may listen while planning your answer. You may sit down and keep your muscles ready to rise. You may hear a sound and tense. You may see a name on your screen and feel your chest change before you read the message. You may lie down at the end of the day and begin reviewing everything. What went well? What felt strange? What you should have said? What tomorrow requires? What someone else meant? What you forgot? What you fear? The day ends, but the inner shift continues. There is no clock for this worker. No one says, "You have done enough." No one takes the keys from your hands. So tonight, or this morning, or in whatever quiet moment these words have found you, let this be said clearly. You have done more than enough holding for one day. You have tried to protect what you love. You have tried to prevent pain. You have tried to be wise. You have tried to be ready. You have tried to make good things stay. You have tried to keep difficult things from entering. You have tried. And the trying deserves tenderness, not criticism. There is no shame in recognizing that a strategy has become exhausting. There is no failure in discovering that constant control does not create the safety it promised. There is no weakness in wanting another way. You do not have to punish the part of you that learned to grip. That part does not need to be defeated. It needs to know that it is no longer alone. It needs evidence, not a command, not another demand to calm down, evidence. The evidence is already near. Your heart is still moving. Your breath is still returning. The floor is still beneath you. The room is still holding its shape. The day is still unfolding without your full supervision. Life has not asked you to turn every wheel. It has not asked you to predict every wave. It has not asked you to make every person choose well. It has not asked you to carry every possible ending in advance. Some things are yours to do. Some words are yours to speak. Some boundaries are yours to set. Some help is yours to seek. Some choices are yours to make with care. But not everything is yours. Not every outcome, not every opinion, not every delay, not every mood, not every path, not every answer. Your work is real, but it is not endless. Your care matters, but it is not control. Your presence has power, but it is not responsible for the whole world. Let these truths stand beside the part of you that is tired. Do not force it to believe them all at once. Let it listen. Let it watch. Let it see that the next breath comes without being dragged into the body. Let it see that time moves without being pushed. Let it see that what is meant to grow has its own work happening beneath the surface. You are beginning to learn the difference between being devoted and being consumed. You are beginning to learn the difference between preparation and fear. You are beginning to learn the difference between caring for a life and trying to control it. This learning may not feel dramatic. It may begin as one small space between a thought and your response. One moment before checking again. One breath before saying yes. One honest sentence instead of a perfect one. One evening in which you stop rehearsing a conversation that is not happening. One morning in which you meet yourself before meeting the world. That small space matters. It is where another way begins. The old habit may still speak. It may say, "Do not loosen your hold. You will regret it." You do not need to argue. You can answer, "I hear that you are afraid." The habit may say, "If you stop, everything will fall apart." You can answer, "I am willing to see what continues without my strain." The habit may say, "You must know what happens next." You can answer, "I can take the next honest step without owning the whole path." These are not magic words. They do not erase real duties or remove the need for action. They do something quieter. They return you to the part that is actually yours. This moment, this choice, this breath, this body, this truth, this next step. You do not need the whole future in your hands to live this day with care. You do not need every person to understand you before you understand yourself. You do not need complete certainty before you can stop punishing yourself with possibilities. A softer life is not a careless life. A peaceful mind is not an unprepared mind. An open hand is not an empty hand. It is a hand that can receive. For now, you do not have to open it fully. Just stop tightening it. Let the fingers rest where they are. Let the mind hear that there may be support beyond effort. Let the heart consider that not every good thing must be chased. Let the body receive this first small message. You are not the only power at work in your life. That message may feel unfamiliar. Stay with it without making it prove itself. You have spent a long time gathering evidence for danger, delay, and disappointment. You can begin gathering evidence for support too. A kind word that arrived at the right moment. A problem that solved itself after you stopped circling it. A strength that appeared only when it was needed. A turn you could not have planned. A quiet inner knowing that helped you choose. These moments may not have announced themselves as wonders. They may have looked ordinary, yet they carried you. They reminded you that effort is not the only way life moves. Beneath the noise of planning, a deeper rhythm has never stopped. You are not being asked to become careless. You are being invited to become accompanied. And for this moment, that invitation is enough. The part of you that holds tightly did not appear without a reason. It learned from moments when support did not come soon enough. It learned from promises that changed. It learned from people who said one thing and did another. It learned from times when you relaxed and then had to respond quickly. It learned from disappointment, confusion, silence, and sudden change. At some point, being prepared may have felt safer than being surprised. At some point, watching everything may have felt wiser than trusting anything. At some point, holding the rope may have seemed like the only way to keep your life from moving somewhere you did not choose. You may not remember the first moment this began. These habits often grow slowly. One experience joins a no, there until the body creates a rule. Stay alert. Do not depend too much. Check before believing. Prepare before resting. Hold on before anything can leave. These rules may have helped you through something real. They may have helped you remain steady in a home where moods changed quickly. They may have taught you to read small signals before conflict arrived. They may have helped you become responsible when the people around you could not be relied upon. You may have become the person who thought ahead because no one else did. You may have learned to solve problems before asking whether they were yours. You may have learned that needing help led to disappointment, so you stopped asking. You may have learned that expressing fear made others uncomfortable, so you became calm for everyone. You may have learned that love felt more secure when you were useful. A child cannot always leave what feels unsafe. A child often adapts instead. The mind studies the room. The body remembers tone. The heart learns which parts of itself are welcome and which parts should remain hidden. Even many years later, those lessons can still shape the way you move. You may be in a safe room now, yet some part of you still listens for danger. You may be surrounded by caring people, yet receiving support may still feel uncertain. You may have choices now, yet the body may respond as though there are none. This does not mean something is wrong with you. It means your protection became deeply practiced. The more often a pattern helped you survive a difficult moment, the more quickly it returns. It does not stop to ask whether the present is different from the past. It moves before thought. It tightens the stomach. It raises the shoulders. It sends the mind searching. It says, I know what to do. I will take control. That response deserves understanding. You do not need to insult it. You do not need to call yourself difficult, anxious, needy, controlling, broken, or too much. Those labels create more pain. The deeper truth is that you became skilled at staying ready. You became skilled at carrying more than your share. You became skilled at detecting changes. You became skilled at continuing when you were tired. These abilities may have helped you many times. They may still help you in real situations that require attention and wise action. The goal is not to throw away your strength. The goal is to stop using emergency strength in every ordinary moment. There is a difference between responding to what is happening and preparing for every possible thing that could happen. There is a difference between responsibility and inner punishment. There is a difference between paying attention and never feeling safe enough to rest. Your strength does not disappear when you soften. Your wisdom does not disappear when you stop watching every detail. Your care does not disappear when you place something down. You remain capable. You remain thoughtful. You remain able to act when action is needed. You are only lead. Earning that constant tension is not the source of those abilities. There may be a fear that if you become peaceful, you will miss something important. Your mind may believe worry is the reason you remember, prepare, and succeed. It may point to every time concern made you act. But worry and wisdom are not the same. Wisdom can speak clearly. Worry often repeats itself. Wisdom tells you what can be done. Worry keeps discussing what cannot be controlled. Wisdom helps you make a decision. Worry reopens the decision after it has been made. Wisdom respects information. Worry searches until exhaustion. You do not need to silence concern completely. Concern can bring useful information. It may tell you that a conversation is needed, that a boundary has been crossed, that a plan needs attention, or that help should be requested. After the message has been heard, concern does not have to remain in charge. You can listen without handing it every hour. You can respond without giving it your whole body. You can take action and still choose peace afterward. Sometimes the hardest part is recognizing that you have already done what you can. You sent the message. You completed the work. You asked the question. You made the appointment. You offered the apology. You explained the boundary. You prepared carefully. You told the truth. Then comes the space where the result belongs partly to someone else, partly to time, and partly to life. That space may feel unbearable. It may feel like standing on the dock after every useful task is finished, still gripping the rope because movement has not yet begun. The mind may insist that holding longer will improve the result. It may tell you to send another message. Explain one more time. Check once more. Look for another sign. Think of another possibility. But sometimes the next wise action is no action. Sometimes you have already placed your care where it needed to go. Sometimes the answer requires time. Sometimes another person must decide. Sometimes information has not arrived. Sometimes your body needs to recover before clarity becomes available. Waiting can feel helpless when control has always been your protection. Yet waiting is not always helplessness. It can be restraint. It can be self-respect. It can be the refusal to chase what has already hurt you. It can be the wisdom to stop adding pressure to something that needs space. It can be the understanding that a result forced too early may not be the result that serves you. The mind may not accept this immediately. It may say, "But what if nothing happens?" That fear is honest. There have been times when you waited and did not receive what you wanted. There have been times when people did not return. There have been times when an opportunity passed. There have been times when effort did not create the outcome you hoped for. No teaching about peace should ask you to deny those experiences. There are real losses. There are unanswered questions. There are endings that hurt for a long time. There are situations that need practical support, legal help, medical care, financial guidance, counseling, community, or protection. Inner words can comfort and strengthen you, but they are not a replacement for skilled help when skilled help is needed. Seeking support is not failure. Leaving danger is not failure. Asking someone qualified to stand beside you is not weakness. You were never required to handle every burden through thought alone. There are moments when the wisest form of trust is making a phone call. There are moments when care looks like setting an appointment. There are moments when courage looks like telling someone what has been happening. There are moments when peace begins with a clear boundary. There are moments when safety must come before understanding. You can believe in life and still take practical steps. You can soften inwardly and still say no. You can stop controlling an outcome and still protect yourself. You can place down what is not yours while fully tending to what is yours. This is not a choice between effort and faith. It is the creation of a wiser relationship between them. You act where your action has meaning. You stop where action becomes strain. You speak where truth is needed. You become quiet where repeating yourself only empties you. You prepare for what is real. You refuse to rehearse every possible disaster. This balance may feel new. At first, you may only find it for a few seconds. That is enough. A few seconds of not following the old habit creates a different experience inside the body. The message is small but important. I did not check, and I survived the urge. I did not explain again, and my truth remained true. I did not solve another person's feeling, and I remained loving. I rested before everything was finished and the world continued. These moments become new evidence, your protective part learned through experience. It will also soften through experience. It may not change because you tell it that everything is safe. It may know that everything is not always safe. Life includes uncertainty. People make painful choices. Bodies need care. Plans change. A deeper message is needed. You do not have to control everything in order to meet what comes. You can trust your ability to respond. You can trust yourself to seek help. You can trust yourself to leave what harms you. You can trust yourself to learn. You can trust yourself to begin again. This kind of confidence does not require the future to make promises. It grows from your relationship with yourself. You may not know what another person will choose. You can know that you will listen to your own truth. You may not know whether a plan will unfold exactly as expected. You can know that you will adjust with care. You may not know how long a change will take. You can know that you do not need to attack yourself while it takes place. You may not know which answer will arrive. You can know that you will not abandon yourself while waiting. This is where control begins to loosen, not because uncertainty disappears, because self-abandonment begins to end. Much of the fear beneath holding is not only fear of what may happen. It is fear that you will be alone inside what happens. A younger part of you may believe that if a plan fails, you will have no support. If someone leaves, you will have no ground. If a mistake is made, you will become unworthy. If the future changes, you will not know who to be. Speak inwardly to that fear with patience. You do not have to promise a perfect future. You can promise presence. You can say, I will stay with you. You can say, we will ask for help. You can say, we will take one step. You can say, we will not turn pain into self-hatred. You can say, we will not remain where harm is repeated. You can say, we will listen to what is true. These promises belong to you. No one else has to agree before you make them. No outside result has to arrive before you begin keeping them. The more faithfully you remain beside yourself, the less desperately you need to control every external movement. You begin to understand that security is not the same as prediction. Prediction tries to know what will happen. Security knows you will care for yourself as it happens. Prediction demands certainty. Security builds inner steadiness. Prediction studies every wave. Security remembers that you can respond to movement. There may still be fear. There may still be disappointment. There may still be moments when the old urgency returns. That does not erase your progress. Healing old habits is rarely a clean departure. You may loosen your hold one day and tighten it the next. You may feel clear in the morning and uncertain by evening. You may set a boundary and then feel guilty. You may stop checking for an hour then check twice. Do not turn these movements into proof that you cannot change. A practiced pattern often returns before it weakens. Each return is another chance to meet it differently, not with anger, not with shame, not with another command, with recognition. There is the part of me that wants to prevent pain. There is the part of me that believes more thought will bring safety. There is the part of me that is tired of waiting. There is the part of me that fears losing what matters. You are not only that part. You are also the awareness that can hear it. You are the one who can choose what happens next. You may follow the fear. You may take one useful action. You may place a hand on your chest. You may step away from the screen. You may write the thought down and return to the present. You may contact someone supportive. You may say, "This does not need an answer in this minute." Choice returns in very small ways, and small choices change the inner direction of a life. Think of all that has carried you until now, not only your effort. There were moments of timing you did not arrange. A person called when you needed to hear a voice. Information appeared before a decision. A delay kept you from entering something too soon. A mistake showed you what needed attention. A change you resisted later became a relief. A plan ended, and your life continued beyond the ending. You may have called these coincidences. You may have barely noticed them because the mind remembers danger more easily than support. But support has existed. It may not always have arrived in the form you requested. It may not always have arrived at the speed you wanted. It may not have prevented every painful experience. Still, something kept meeting you. Your own strength met you. Other people met you. Useful knowledge met you. New choices met you. Rest met you. Time changed what looked permanent. Understanding came after confusion. A different path became visible after the old one ended. There are things you know now that you could not have known earlier. There are boundaries you can name now that once felt impossible. There are situations you would not accept now because pain taught you the value of your own well-being. This does not make the pain necessary or good. It means your life has not stopped creating wisdom from what you survived. You are more than the person who was hurt. You are also the person who learned. You are more than the moment that disappointed you. You are also the awareness that grew afterward. You are more than the plan that failed. You are also the life that remained. This evidence matters. You may have been told that trusting means believing nothing difficult will happen. That kind of belief can feel fragile because life does not offer such guarantees. A steadier understanding is possible. Trust can mean believing that you do not face life with only the strength you feel today. More strength can arrive when it is needed. More information can appear. More support can be requested. More clarity can grow. More than one future is possible. You do not have to know the full shape of that future now. You only need enough steadiness for the next real moment. The next real moment is usually smaller than the future imagined by fear. It is this breath, this room, this conversation, this task, this choice. Fear may be discussing next year while life is asking you to drink water. Fear may be discussing abandonment while life is asking you to speak one honest sentence. Fear may be discussing failure while life is asking you to complete one small step. Fear may be discussing every possible ending while life is still living the middle. Return to what is here. Not because the future does not matter, because the present is where your influence lives. This is where you choose. This is where you care for your body. This is where you ask for help. This is where you stop one harmful pattern. This is where you make one call. This is where you leave one unnecessary worry unanswered. The future does not need to be carried all at once. It arrives in moments. You meet it in moments. You have always met it that way. Even the events you feared most did not arrive as your whole imagined future. They arrived as one phone call, one conversation, one morning, one decision, one necessary action at a time. You did not carry the whole experience in a single instant. You moved through it. You found the next step. You breathed. You responded. You endured. You reached for what helped. You may have done it imperfectly. You may have cried. You may have needed others. You may have changed direction. Still, you moved. That history is part of your evidence. You do not need to romanticize hardship to recognize your ability. You do not need to feel grateful for harm to honor the strength that helped you survive it. You do not need to forgive before you are ready. You do not need to maintain closeness with someone who repeatedly causes pain. Inner peace is not permission for others to mistreat you. Compassion does not remove consequences. A soft heart can have clear limits. A caring person can leave. A peaceful person can say no. A loving person can refuse to carry what another person must face. These truths may challenge old beliefs. You may have learned that goodness meant endless availability. You may have thought that understanding someone's pain required accepting their behavior. You may have believed that keeping peace meant keeping quiet. But silence that harms you is not peace. Overgiving that empties you is not love. Constant self-betrayal is not kindness. The more clearly you understand this, the less control you need. You stop trying to manage people into treating you well. You stop searching for the perfect words that will make someone respect a limit they have chosen to ignore. You state what is true. You observe what they do. You make choices from that evidence. This is a deep form of freedom. You are no longer using all your energy to persuade life to be what it is not. You begin responding to what is actually here. This may include grief. There are moments when loosening your grip reveals sadness beneath it. Control can keep grief busy. As long as the mind is planning, correcting, analyzing, and searching, the heart does not have to fully feel the loss. When the effort grows quiet, tears may come. Let them be honest. Their presence does not mean you are moving backward. You may be grieving a person. You may be grieving time. You may be grieving a dream that changed. You may be grieving the version of yourself who worked so hard to be loved. You may be grieving years spent carrying duties that were never yours. You may be grieving the hope that someone would become different. Grief does not need to be rushed into meaning. It may need companionship. It may need rest. It may need professional support. It may need space where you do not have to act strong. Feeling sadness is not the same as drowning in it. You can feel what is here and still remain beside yourself. You can give pain a place without giving it every place. You can honor an ending without making it the end of you. Sometimes control also covers anger. You may have been told not to be angry. You may have learned to turn anger inward. Instead of recognizing that something was unfair, you blamed yourself. Instead of saying that a limit was crossed, you tried harder to become easier to love. Anger can bring information. It can say, "This mattered." It can say, "That was not acceptable." It can say, "Something must change." You do not have to use anger to harm yourself or anyone else. You can let its message become clarity. What needs protection? What needs expression? What needs distance? What action supports your well-being? When anger is heard wisely, it does not need to keep shouting through control. When grief is given space, it does not need to hide beneath endless thinking. When fear is met with presence, it does not need to direct every decision. Your emotions are not enemies. They are experiences moving through you. They may be strong, but they are not permanent commands. You can listen and still choose. You can feel and still pause. You can care and still refuse. You can be uncertain and still remain grounded in what you know today. The practice is not to become emotionless. The practice is to stop giving every emotion full ownership of the future. A fearful moment does not define what will happen. A lonely evening does not prove you are alone forever. A delayed answer does not describe your worth. A difficult week does not become the meaning of your whole life. Hold each moment in its true size. This moment is real. It is not everything. This feeling is here. It is not the whole future. This question matters. It does not need to be answered by force. You have already lived through many moments your mind once declared impossible. You are here, not untouched, not unchanged, but here. There is wisdom in that fact. There is support in that fact. There is a quiet reason to loosen your hands. You do not have to drop every concern today. You do not have to become fearless. You do not have to believe that every outcome will match your desire. Begin with something more honest. You are willing to stop treating worry as proof of love. You are willing to stop treating tension as proof of responsibility. You are willing to stop treating exhaustion as proof that you tried hard enough. You are willing to consider that care may feel calm. You are willing to consider that wisdom may be quiet. You are willing to consider that the next step may arrive without being chased. This willingness is enough to begin. The rope may still be in your hands. The knot may still feel familiar beneath your fingers. The dock may still seem safer than the movement beyond it. No one is asking you to force your hands open. For now, become aware of how tightly you are holding. Become aware of the strain in the wrists. Become aware of the belief attached to the rope. If I loosen this, I will lose everything. Look at that belief with kindness. Then look at the water. It has been there the whole time, moving, supporting, waiting without pressure. The boat was not built to be held forever against the dock. The rope was useful. It kept the boat near while loading was needed. It gave stability during certain conditions. It had a purpose. But something can be useful in one season and limiting in another. The fact that the rope once protected the boat does not mean the boat must remain tied for life. Your control had a purpose. Your vigilance had a purpose. Your planning had a purpose. Honor that purpose. Then ask whether the same level of holding is needed now. Some knots must remain because a real responsibility is present. Some need careful attention before movement is safe. Some require support from someone with experience, and some knots are only habits of fear. The wisdom is learning the difference. You do not need to decide everything today. One knot is enough. One place where strain has become unnecessary. One result you have already done enough to support. One person whose emotions belong to them. One conversation that does not need another rehearsal. One future question that cannot be answered tonight. Place your awareness there. Do not pull. Do not cut. Do not force. Only recognize the knot. Recognition changes the relationship. You are no longer unconsciously holding. You are beginning to choose. And choice is the first movement toward freedom. Life has been moving in places your eyes cannot follow. While you were thinking about tomorrow, your body was carrying out thousands of quiet tasks. While you were replaying one conversation, the day continued arranging meetings, changes, delays, and small crossings you could not have planned. While you were asking whether anything was happening, much of what supports life remained unseen. The unseen does not mean inactive. A heartbeat does not wait for encouragement. Breath does not need a perfect mood before it returns. The body does not ask whether you feel worthy before it begins repairing what it can. Time does not stop because you feel uncertain. Mourning does not require your confidence. The world continues even during the moments when you cannot see a way forward. This does not mean every difficulty solves itself. It does not mean you should ignore what needs care. It means your effort has never been the only movement present. You have always lived inside a larger process. There were meals growing before you knew you would need them. There were people learning things that would later help you. There were roads being built before you knew where you would travel. There were conversations taking place that would eventually affect your path. There were choices made far from you that created openings you could not yet recognize. You could not supervise any of it. Still, some of it reached you. Think of how many ordinary things support one day of your life. Water reaches you through systems you do not operate. Light appears when you touch a switch, though you did not create the power behind it. Food arrives through the work of hands you may never meet. Messages cross distance in moments through inventions you did not build. Even the most independent life is held by countless forms of cooperation. You are never doing everything alone. You may perform your own part, but your part is resting inside the work of many others. The mind that learned to depend only on itself may overlook this. It may say, I am the one who has to make everything happen. Yet even your ability to act was supported. Someone taught you a word. Someone showed you a skill. Someone shared information. Someone repaired a road. Someone created a tool. Someone planted something. Someone made a decision that helped your day move. You may not know their names. Their efforts still reached you. This is not a reason to feel indebted to the whole world. It is an invitation to see that support can exist without always feeling personal or dramatic. Support does not always arrive as a person taking your hand and saying, I am here. Sometimes it arrives as a place being open when you need it. Sometimes it is a seat becoming available. Sometimes it is a document reaching the right desk. Sometimes it is a delay that gives you one more day. Sometimes it is the clear thought that comes after hours of confusion. Sometimes it is the energy to complete one necessary task. Sometimes it is the ability to say, I need help. Sometimes it is the understanding that you no longer have to stay. You may have expected support to look one way. Because it did not arrive in that form, you believed it was absent. But life can hold you through practical things: a conversation, a boundary, a piece of knowledge, a change of plan, a new place, a moment of courage, a decision to stop, a decision to begin. Support may be quiet enough that you call it ordinary. Ordinary support is still support. Your mind may remember the times things went wrong more quickly than the times they continued well. This is part of how protection works. It studies danger because danger seems important. It rarely celebrates all the things that did not become disasters. You worried about a meeting and it passed. You feared a conversation and you found the words. You expected a problem and it never formed. You thought you would not manage a change and slowly you did. You imagined that one ending would destroy your future and life continued beyond it. These moments deserve a place in your memory too. The mind may answer, yes, but something else could still go wrong. Of course it could. Life is not controlled by positive thinking. No sentence can remove every uncertainty. No peaceful practice can promise that nothing difficult will happen. But worry cannot make that promise either. Tension cannot guarantee protection, Yipsa. Eating of fear does not make the future more obedient. You may have given worry the status of wisdom because it sounded serious. You may have believed that hope was careless while fear was realistic. Fear is not always more accurate. It is only more urgent. It can present one possible ending as the only ending. It can take an old experience and place it over a new moment. It can use the past to predict what every person will do. Wisdom is broader. Wisdom includes risk without worshiping it. Wisdom sees what could go wrong and what could go well. Wisdom prepares where preparation is useful and stops where preparation becomes harm. Wisdom knows that uncertainty contains more than danger. It also contains help you have not met, answers you have not considered, strength you have not needed yet, people you have not encountered, paths you cannot see from your present position. The unknown is not only where your fears live, it is also where new possibilities live. You cannot control that space, but you do not have to fill it only with painful images. You can leave some of it open. You can say, I do not know what will happen, and I do not need to decide that it will hurt me. You can say, I will prepare for what is real without suffering every imagined ending. You can say, more may be possible than I can see today. These words do not ask you to pretend. They create room. Room is often what a tired mind needs. Not an answer to every question. Not a promise about every result. Room. A little distance between you and the fear. A little air around the decision. A little time before you act from panic. A little space where life may contribute something you could not create through force. Consider how clarity often arrives. You may spend hours trying to think your way through a problem. You repeat the same possibilities until they begin to lose meaning. You become tired, but the answer does not become clearer. Then you step away. You wash your face. You walk into another room. You speak with someone. You sleep. You do something ordinary. Later, a thought appears. Not because you pushed harder. Because the inner noise became quiet enough for another understanding to be heard. This is one of the ways life works with you. It does not always respond to pressure. Some answers grow in space. Some decisions need a body that is no longer braced. Some truths become visible only when you stop arguing with what you already know. Some direction appears after you accept that the old direction is finished. You may call this intuition. You may call it perspective. You may call it the wisdom of rest. The name matters less than the experience. You stopped forcing. Something became clearer. There are also times when the answer does not arrive as a thought. It arrives through events. A person reveals their pattern. A plan shows its weakness. An opportunity returns. A better option appears. A delay exposes something important. A repeated feeling tells you that a situation is not aligned with your well-being. Life provides information through movement. Your task is not to control all movement. Your task is to remain present enough to see what it is showing you. Control can sometimes make seeing more difficult. When you are determined to make one outcome happen, you may ignore the evidence that another choice is needed. You may keep pulling on something that has already become painful. You may treat resistance as a command to try harder. Persistence has value. So does discernment. There are moments to continue. There are moments to adjust. There are moments to stop. There are moments to wait. You do not have to label every ending as failure. Sometimes ending an effort is the first honest response to reality. Sometimes changing your mind is a sign that you listened. Sometimes withdrawing your energy is how you return it to what can actually grow. You may have been taught never to give up. But not every act of stopping is giving up. Stopping can mean no longer begging for mutuality. Stopping can mean no longer repeating a limit to someone committed to crossing it. Stopping can mean no longer investing in a plan whose cost has become too high. Stopping can mean accepting that a particular answer will not come from the person you hoped would give it. Stopping can be an act of truth. There is a difference between abandoning what matters and ending what is harming you. There is a difference between patience and endless delay of your own well-being. There is a difference between devotion and losing yourself. You are learning these differences. Life often teaches through contrast. You feel what tightness costs, and you begin to value ease. You experience what overgiving creates, and you begin to value balance. You see what happens when you ignore yourself, and you begin to listen sooner. This learning may not arrive neatly. You may understand a lesson and still repeat an old pattern. You may know that a situation is not right and still need time to leave. You may understand that another person cannot give you what you need and still grieve. Knowing does not instantly remove feeling. Be patient with the distance between understanding and action. Sometimes the mind arrives before the body. Sometimes the body knows before the mind admits it. You are bringing these parts together. That takes care. You do not need to make a dramatic promise. You do not need to declare that you will never worry again. You do not need to demand that every attachment disappear. Your nervous system learns through repeated moments of safety, honesty, and support. It learns when you keep one boundary. It learns when you rest without earning it. It learns when you ask for help and someone responds. It learns when someone does not respond and you still remain beside yourself. It learns when you make a mistake and speak to yourself with respect. It ends when you face uncertainty without creating 10 punishments in advance. Each experience says, I can be here without holding everything. That message begins to settle. The shoulders may soften sooner. The breath may deepen without instruction. The hands may stay open during one difficult conversation. The mind may still create fearful thoughts, but you may no longer follow every one. This is progress. Progress is not the absence of old thoughts. It is a changing relationship with them. You can hear a thought without obeying it. You can feel urgency without moving immediately. You can care about a result without making it the measure of your worth. You can want something deeply without chasing it past your own dignity. You can prepare without living in constant rehearsal. The old part of you may ask, how will I know when it is safe to stop holding? There may never be a perfect signal. The outer world cannot offer complete certainty. The signal may be the recognition that holding is no longer helping. It is not changing the answer. It is not improving the relationship. It is not making the decision clearer. It is only making you tired. That tiredness carries information. It may be time to move from effort into observation. You have spoken. Now observe. You have prepared. Now observe. You have offered care. Now observe. You have made the request. Now observe. What happens when you stop adding pressure? What does the other person choose when you stop carrying both sides? What becomes visible when you do not rush to repair every silence? What does your own body say when you become still? Observation can reveal what control hides. If you always initiate, you may never know who would come toward you. If you always fix, you may never know who is willing to take responsibility. If you always fill silence, you may never hear the truth beneath it. If you always remain available, you may never discover whether someone respects your limits. Stepping back is not a trick to make others respond. It is a way of allowing reality to show itself. You deserve to see reality, not only your hope, not only your fear, not only the version you could create through constant effort. Reality may bring relief. It may also bring sadness. Both are useful. Relief shows you where strain was unnecessary. Sadness shows you what mattered. Neither requires you to return to control. You can feel deeply and stay honest. The boat at the dock cannot learn what the water will do while the rope remains pulled tight. It may face the water every day. It may hear movement against its sides. It may rise and lower with each small change. Still, the rope keeps it near the same wooden edge. The boat may mistake closeness to the dock for safety. The dock is solid. It does not move. It is familiar beneath the hand. The water moves constantly. Its surface changes with light and weather. It cannot be held in one shape. To a part of you that values certainty, the dock may seem more dependable than the water. Yet the boat does not belong to the dock. It rests there for a time. It receives what it needs. It waits through conditions that make staying wise, but its design holds another purpose. Its shape was made to meet movement. The wide base, the curved sides, the space within it, each part was formed with water in mind. The boat does not need the water to become solid. It needs to discover that movement can support it. This is the lesson your controlling part may not yet understand. Support does not always feel still. Sometimes support moves. Sometimes it redirects. Sometimes it carries you away from the place you thought you had to remain. Sometimes it creates distance from what was familiar. Sometimes it asks you to respond instead of freeze. You may have believed that being held meant nothing would change. But being held can also mean you are supported through change. You may have believed that safety meant staying close to what you know. But what you know is not always what cares for you. You may have believed that the rope was saving the boat from the water, yet without the water, the boat cannot fulfill what it was made to do. This does not mean every current should be entered without care. Wisdom checks conditions. Wisdom attends to what is needed. Wisdom respects real risk. A boat may remain tied during dangerous weather. It may need repair. It may need guidance. It may need someone experienced to help read the water. There is no shame in careful timing. Release is not reckless. The lesson is not to untie every knot immediately. The lesson is to stop calling every knot necessary. Some knots remain because the mind has forgotten why they were made. Some were tied during a fearful season. Some were tied by someone else's expectations. Some were tied to a version of you that no longer exists. Some were tied because leaving once felt impossible. Now you stand beside them with more awareness. You can examine each one. Is this responsibility mine? Does this relationship respect my well-being? Is this effort creating movement? Am I staying because it is right or because it is familiar? Have I done what I can? Is there a practical step still needed? Would wise support help me decide? These questions are not demands for instant answers. They help your hands become conscious. There is great freedom in knowing why you are holding something. There is even greater freedom in recognizing when the reason is gone. The rope may have protected a dream while it was being prepared. It may have kept something stable while you gathered strength. It may have given you time to recover. Honor that. Then look again. The same rope that protects at one time can prevent movement at another. This is why your old habits should not be hated. They were not created to harm you. They stayed too long because they were never told the danger had changed. Speak to them now. The conditions are different. I have more choices. I can ask for support. I can move carefully. I do not have to remain tied to prove I am safe. The boat does not reject the dock when it leaves. It does not call the rope evil. It accepts that their purpose has been completed. There may be gratitude. There may be sadness. There may be fear. And still, one knot can loosen, not through violence, not through self-criticism, through readiness. Readiness does not always feel like confidence. It may feel like being more tired of staying than afraid of moving. It may feel like a quiet truth you can no longer ignore. It may feel like a small inner sentence. This way of holding is costing too much. Listen to that sentence. It may be the beginning of movement. You do not have to know exactly where the water leads. The boat does not contain the whole journey inside itself before leaving the pier. It carries what is needed for the present passage. It remains responsive. It meets the movement beneath it. It adjusts. It does not control the water. It learns how to move with what is real. You have this capacity too. You can adjust without abandoning yourself. You can change direction without becoming lost. You can enter uncertainty without surrendering your wisdom. You can move carefully and remain open. You can seek guidance. You can return when returning is wise. You can continue when continuation is right. Your life does not require one perfect decision that determines everything forever. Many decisions can be reviewed. Many paths can be changed. Many mistakes can be repaired. Many beginnings can begin again. The need to choose perfectly often keeps the rope tight. You fear that one movement will take away every option. But movement often creates information. You learn by entering life. You discover what feels right by experiencing what does not. You become clearer by taking an honest step. The boat learns the water through contact, not through endless observation from the dock. There comes a point when thinking cannot offer more. There comes a point when the next lesson belongs to experience. You will know that point not because fear disappears, but because the inner answer keeps returning. A conversation needs to happen. A boundary needs to be kept. A task needs to be started. A place needs to be left. A request needs to be made. A period of waiting needs to be respected. An outcome needs to be placed outside your hands. These movements are not all outward. Sometimes the deepest movement is inward. You stop asking why you were not enough for someone who could not meet you. You stop trying to rewrite a past that has already happened. You stop requiring an apology before beginning your own recovery. You stop making another person's inability the measure of your value. You stop waiting for the world to admit what you already know. The rope loosens inside before anything changes outside. Your body may feel the shift first, a fuller breath, less pressure behind the eyes, a little warmth returning to the hands, the realization that you do not have to solve this tonight. You may still care, you may still grieve, you may still hope, but the strain begins to separate from the love. You see that love does not require you to destroy yourself through waiting. Hope does not require constant checking. Care does not require ownership of another person's path. A dream does not require you to force one exact form. You can keep the love and place down the strain. You can keep the hope and stop chasing proof. You can keep the wisdom and loosen the fear. This is not losing what matters. It is removing what makes love painful to carry. The water touches the sides of the boat, whether the rope is tight or loose. Life has always been near you. Movement has always been present. You may have thought the rope was holding you above the water. It was only holding you beside the dock. The water has been carrying the boat's weight all along. Even while tied, the boat is not resting on the rope. The rope controls distance. The water provides support. Let that truth reach the part of you that believes control is the source of safety. Your effort has controlled some distance. It has kept certain things close. It has prevented certain movements. It has helped you manage what could be managed. But effort was never carrying the whole weight of your life. Life itself has been beneath you. Your body, time, other people's help, your own growing wisdom, unexpected openings, practical support, the strength that came after you believed you had none left. All of this has been beneath you, not perfectly, not without difficulty, not in a way that prevented every loss. Still beneath you. You are here because more than strain has carried you. You are here because something in you kept responding. You are here because support appeared in forms large and small. You are here because life continued to meet you one moment at a time. You do not have to make this into a grand belief. Let it remain evidence. The water has been holding more than the rope ever could. For now, stay beside that understanding. Do not rush toward the knot. Do not demand a great act of courage. Just feel the difference between control and support. Control says, nothing can move unless I move it. Support says, I can participate without carrying everything. Control says, if I loosen, I will fall. Support says, there may be something beneath me. Control says, the familiar edge is the only safety. Support says, movement can also hold me. One knot waits. One hand is becoming less tense. One truth is beginning to feel possible. You have never been carried by effort alone. The water does not ask the boat to understand the whole journey before it begins. It does not demand certainty. It does not ask for a map of every turn. It meets the weight that is already there. The boat may still face the pier. Its sides may still touch the familiar edge. The rope may still pass through the hands that have held it for so long. Nothing has changed outwardly yet, but inwardly something has changed. You have seen that the rope is not carrying the boat. You have seen that holding and support are not the same thing. You have seen that a knot can remain long after its original purpose has ended. This understanding does not force movement. It makes movement possible. For a long time, you may have believed that loosening control meant becoming passive. You may have imagined that the moment you stopped pushing, you would stop progressing. You may have feared that life would interpret your quiet as a lack of desire. But life does not need your suffering as proof that something matters to you. Your exhaustion does not make your hope more sincere. Your constant checking does not make the answer come sooner. Your sleepless thinking does not persuade time to move faster. You can care deeply without keeping your body in a state of alarm. You can want a result without making every hour a test. You can work towards something and still leave room for events to unfold beyond your effort. You can make your intention clear and then stop pulling the rope. This is a different kind of participation. It does not remove you from your life. It returns you to your true place within it. You are not the water. You do not have to create every movement. You are not the entire journey. You do not have to know every turn. You are not the dock. You do not have to remain fixed forever. You are the one learning to meet movement without abandoning yourself. There are parts of your life that may already be asking for this new relationship. Perhaps there is an answer you have tried to obtain through repeated thought. You have examined every detail. You have made every reasonable effort. Still, the answer is not ready. The old habit says, think harder. The deeper wisdom says, wait for more information. There may be a relationship you have tried to carry through your attention alone. You have explained, forgiven, encouraged, and remained available. Still, mutual effort has not appeared. The old habit says, give more. The deeper wisdom says, see what happens when you stop doing both parts. There may be a goal you truly value. You have taken practical steps, learned what you could, and continued with care. Still, the result has not arrived on your preferred schedule. The old habit says, your delay proves failure. The deeper wisdom says, the path may still be forming. There may be a past event you revisit, because some part of you believes another round of thought will change its meaning. You return to what was said. You return to what you should have done. You imagine a different ending. The old habit says, solve it. The deeper wisdom says, it has already happened. Care for the person who lived through it. There may be a choice you are afraid to make because you want a guarantee. You want to know that no regret will follow. You want to know that everyone will understand. You want to know that the next place will be easier than the current one. The old habit says, do not move until uncertainty disappears. The deeper wisdom says, choose from what is true now. These inner voices may feel similar at first. Both may speak about safety. Both may speak about care. But one creates more strain each time you obey it. The other brings you closer to reality. The old voice creates another circle. The deeper voice creates one clear step. The old voice says everything must be decided now. The deeper voice says only the present choice is here. The old voice asks you to carry every possible result. The deeper voice asks you to carry your values. Your values can guide you where certainty cannot. You may value honesty. Then your next step can be honest, even if the outcome remains unknown. You may value dignity. Then your next step can protect your dignity, even if another person disapproves. You may value care. Then your next step can include care for yourself, not only care for others. You may value growth. Then your next step can support growth instead of familiar suffering. You may value peace. Then your next step can stop feeding what repeatedly steals it. A value does not tell you every detail of the future. It gives your hands something wiser to hold. Instead of holding the result, you hold honesty. Instead of holding another person's reaction, you hold self-respect. Instead of holding a deadline created by comparison, you hold steady effort. Instead of holding the past open, you hold compassion for yourself. This is how the handover begins. You do not place down everything. You place down what was never truly yours. Another person's readiness is not yours. Another person's honesty is not yours. The exact hour of an answer is not yours. Every opinion about your choice is not yours. The demand to make the past different is not yours. The demand to know the full future is not yours. Your actions are yours. Your boundaries are yours. Your words are yours. Your willingness to ask for help is yours. Your care for your body is yours. Your decision to stop attacking yourself is yours. The handover becomes clearer when you separate these things. You may have been holding them together in one heavy bundle. You believed that caring about an outcome made you responsible for creating every part of it. But an outcome is often made by many forces. Your effort is one force. Another person's choice is another. Timing is another. Circumstances are another. Information you do not yet have is another. Changes you cannot predict are another. Your part matters. It is not the whole. This truth may bring both relief and fear. Relief. because you are not responsible for everything. Fear because you cannot control everything. Let both feelings be here. You do not need to choose one. You can feel lighter and uncertain at the same time. You can know that control is exhausting and still feel afraid to loosen it. You can understand the lesson and still need patience. The hand does not open because it is criticized. It opens when it no longer believes closing tighter is the only safe choice. Give it new evidence. Remember the times when more effort did not create more clarity. Remember the times when stepping back showed you what constant involvement had hidden. Remember the times when a delay protected you from acting too soon. Remember the times when another path appeared after you stopped demanding the first one. Remember the times when you rested and returned with better judgment. Remember the times when truth became obvious without another explanation. These memories are not promises that every story will end as you want. They are reminders that force is not the only source of movement. The water has its own motion. The boat does not create it by straining against the rope. The rope can become so familiar that the hand forgets it is holding anything. The pressure feels normal. The tension becomes part of the day. This may be true for you. You may not recognize how much energy goes into managing an outcome until you briefly stop. Then you feel the tiredness. You feel the ache beneath the effort. You feel how long you have been standing inwardly at the pier, pulling something towards you that may need space to move. Let the tiredness speak without turning it into despair. It is not saying nothing will work. It may be saying this way of working has reached its limit. It may be saying you have completed your part for now. It may be saying more pressure is not the next step. It may be saying come back to yourself. Coming back to yourself does not mean forgetting what you want. It means remembering that you exist apart from the answer. You are still here before the message arrives. You are still worthy before the decision is made. You are still whole before another person understands. You still have a life while the result is forming. You still deserve meals, rest, laughter, movement, and human connection during uncertainty. Waiting does not require you to suspend your existence. You do not have to remain mentally tied to the dock until the future speaks. You can live this day. You can tend to what is present. You can answer the task that is actually in front of you. You can care for the people who are here. You can care for yourself, who is also here. This is not distraction. It is participation in the life that is already happening. The mind may call this irresponsible because it has confused constant attention with devotion. But devotion to one outcome should not require neglect of everything else. Your life is larger than one answer. It is larger than one relationship. It is larger than one mistake. It is larger than one season of uncertainty. The thing you are waiting for may matter deeply, is still not the whole of you. The rope may be connected to something precious. That is why you hold it. You do not hold tightly around things that mean nothing. There may be love attached to the rope. There may be a dream. There may be years of work. There may be identity. There may be the hope that all your effort will be recognized. No wonder the knot feels important. No wonder placing it down feels like risking part of yourself. But placing down control is not placing down love. It is not placing down your dream. It is not declaring that your effort was wasted. It is not saying that you no longer care. It is saying, I cannot carry every part of this process. It is saying, I will honor my part and stop claiming the rest. It is saying, I will not make suffering the price of hope. You may continue to want what you want. You may continue to work with wisdom. You may continue to prepare. You may continue to hope. The difference is that your hands no longer demand proof every hour. The difference is that the body is invited back into the present. The difference is that time is no longer treated as an enemy. Perfect timing does not always mean receiving something on the day you prefer. It does not mean every delay has a hidden reward. It does not mean every painful ending was secretly designed for your benefit. Those ideas can dismiss real grief. A wiser understanding is possible. Timing includes readiness. It includes information. It includes the choices of others. It includes conditions that cannot be rushed. It includes your own capacity to receive, respond, or walk away. Sometimes an outcome arrives later because practical steps take time. Sometimes it does not arrive because another person chooses differently. Sometimes what you wanted changes as you become clearer. Sometimes the passage itself reveals that a new direction is needed. You do not have to call every event perfect. You can stop fighting the fact that you cannot command every event. That is where peace enters. Not through pretending that everything feels good, through ending the argument with what is beyond your control. You can say, I do not like this delay, and I will not destroy myself inside it. You can say, I wish this person had chosen differently, and I will respect what their choice shows me. You can say, I wanted another ending, and I will support myself through this one. You can say, I do not know the next turn, and I will not force an answer from fear. These are strong statements. They return your energy to you. Energy once spent resisting reality becomes available for care. Energy once spent chasing another person becomes available for your own life. Energy once spent replaying the past becomes available for the present. Energy once spent predicting every future becomes available for the next useful step. This is not a dramatic transformation. It may feel like one breath, one unclenched hand, one message left unsent, one evening without searching for an other sign, one decision to wait until your body is calmer, one choice to believe what someone's actions have already shown, one willingness to stop negotiating with a closed answer. Small acts can carry deep meaning. The knot does not need to fall apart all at once. You can loosen it enough to create space. The rope shifts. The hand feels the difference. The boat moves a little farther from the pier, not enough to disappear, only enough to show that the water responds. That first movement may frighten you. The dock is no longer pressed against the side. There is a narrow space where certainty used to be. The mind may immediately try to pull the boat back. This is where kindness matters. Do not shame yourself if you tighten again. Do not call the movement a failure. Your body is learning that space is not the same as abandonment. Your heart is learning that distance from control is not distance from support. Your mind is learning that the answer can remain unknown without becoming an emergency. Return to the knot with patience. The first handover does not have to be large. Choose one concern that has already received enough effort for today. Not every concern. 1. Name what you have done. Perhaps you prepared carefully. Perhaps you spoke clearly. Perhaps you asked for support. Perhaps you completed the necessary work. Perhaps you apologized. Perhaps you set the limit. Perhaps you gathered the available information. Acknowledge your part. Then name what is not yours. The reply, the approval, the exact timing, the other person's choice, the final shape of the result, the entire future. You do not need to speak these things aloud. Let the distinction become clear inside you. My part has been done for now. The rest is not carried by more strain. Stay with that understanding. The body may resist. A thought may say, "Not yet." Another may say, "One more check." Another may say, "You will lose your chance." You do not need to fight these thoughts. Hear the fear beneath them. Then offer the hand something new to practice. The central words are simple. They do not promise a particular outcome. They do not deny uncertainty. They name your new relationship with it. I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me. Let the line stand by itself. You do not have to feel complete confidence. You may only feel one small part of you willing to consider it. That is enough. The words are not an order. They are a direction. They turn the body away from strain and toward support. I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me. You may hear resistance immediately. Does it? What if nothing happens? What if I am forgotten? What if the result is not what I want? Let those questions exist. The line does not say you will receive every specific outcome. It says you will no longer treat control as the only thing carrying you. Timing may carry you toward an answer. It may carry you toward clarity. It may carry you away from something that cannot meet you. It may carry you into a period of waiting that asks for care. It may carry you toward practical help. It may show you that your desired destination has changed. Being carried does not always mean being taken where fear has demanded. It means remaining in relationship with life as movement continues. Say the words once more, not to force belief, but to practice a softer position. I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me. After the third delivery, leave space inside. You may feel calm. You may feel nothing. You may feel sadness. You may feel the urge to return to the old effort. Every response is permitted. A new statement does not erase years of protection in a moment. Its purpose is to place another possibility beside the old belief. The old belief says, "Only my tension keeps this safe." The new possibility says, "My wise action matters, and strain is not the whole support." The old belief says, "If I stop watching, I will be forgotten." The new possibility says, "What is mutual does not require constant pursuit." The old belief says, "If I do not know, I cannot be safe." The new possibility says, "I can care for myself while the answer remains open." If the central words feel too far away today, use something smaller. You do not have to claim more than your body can accept. Say this instead: "I am willing to loosen one small knot." Willingness is honest. It does not pretend the fear is gone. It does not require certainty. It only stops declaring that change is impossible. One small knot may be the need to check a message again. One small knot may be the belief that you must answer immediately. One small knot may be the demand that everyone approve. One small knot may be the thought that rest must wait. One small knot may be the urge to solve another person's choice. You do not need to choose the hardest one. Choose what can soften without placing you in danger or neglecting a real duty. This work should never ask you to ignore practical needs. If action is required, take action. If support is needed, seek it. If a situation is unsafe, move toward protection with appropriate help. If health, legal, emotional, or financial concerns require professional guidance, that guidance can be part of caring for yourself. The handover is not avoidance. It begins after honest responsibility. You do what is yours. You stop carrying what is not. The difference becomes clearer with practice. Avoidance says, "I do not want to face this." Wise placing down says, "I have faced what is mine, and more strain will not improve it." Avoidance ignores necessary information. Wise placing down accepts available information even when it hurts. Avoidance refuses action. Wise placing down acts, then stops demanding control over the response. You are not becoming less responsible. You are becoming more precise about responsibility. This precision protects your energies, keys. It keeps love from becoming self-erasure. It keeps hope from becoming obsession. It keeps preparation from becoming constant fear. It keeps waiting from becoming a punishment. The water remains beneath the boat. The boat may drift a little, then become still. Stillness on the water is not the same as being tied. One is held by tension, the other is held by support. From the outside, both may look quiet. Inside, they feel completely different. In one, the rope is pulled tight. In the other, the boat is free to respond. You may have spent years appearing calm while every inner rope was strained. Now another calm is becoming possible. Not the calm of holding everything in place. The calm of knowing you can respond to movement. The calm of knowing you do not have to prevent every change. The calm of knowing that your worth does not rise and fall with one result. The calm of knowing that you can ask for help. The calm of knowing that you can leave what harms you. The calm of knowing that a closed path does not close your entire life. This is not a calm that depends on perfect conditions. It is a calm built through a more faithful relationship with yourself. You will remain beside yourself in disappointment. You will remain beside yourself in waiting. You will remain beside yourself when clarity asks for courage. You will remain beside yourself if the direction changes. That promise creates inner support. It becomes part of the water beneath you. The future may still be unknown. You are no longer entering it empty-handed. You carry awareness. You carry boundaries. You carry experience. You carry the ability to seek help. You carry the knowledge that strain is not the same as love. You carry the right to pause before reacting. You carry the central words. I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me. Let them become less of a sentence and more of a position. The hands are not fully open. They are no longer closing tighter. The knot has not disappeared. It has begun to move. The boat is still near the dock. It can finally feel the water. The first movement away from the dock does not mean you stop caring about where you are going. It means care is no longer confused with force. The boat still has direction. It still has needs. It still responds to conditions. It still requires wise attention. But it no longer believes that remaining tied is the only way to stay safe. This distinction matters in your life. Placing down control does not mean you stop making decisions. It does not mean you ignore warning signs. It does not mean you remain silent when truth must be spoken. It does not mean you accept mistreatment, neglect, dishonesty, or repeated harm. It does not mean you hand your life to another person and hope they handle it well. You still have responsibility. You still have judgment. You still have the right to protect your well-being. You still have the right to say, "This is not acceptable." You still have the right to leave. You still have the right to seek qualified support. You still have the right to choose a safer direction. A peaceful inner position can support clear outward action. Sometimes the calmest decision is a firm one. Sometimes peace arrives after you stop negotiating with what has already shown itself. Sometimes the most loving response is distance. Sometimes caring for yourself requires disappointing someone who benefited from your lack of boundaries. The old part of you may find this difficult. It may have learned that peace meant keeping everyone comfortable. It may have learned that love meant staying available. It may have learned that forgiveness meant returning to the same situation without change. It may have learned that understanding another person required ignoring the impact of their behavior. But understanding is not permission. Compassion is not agreement. Forgiveness, when and if it becomes right for you, does not require renewed access. You can understand why someone behaved as they did and still decide that the behavior cannot continue around you. You can wish another person well from a distance. You can stop arguing while still keeping your limit. You can care without remaining tied. This is part of mature peace. It does not erase reality. It helps you respond to reality without losing yourself. There may be someone who says your boundary is cruel because your old availability was useful to them. There may be someone who calls your quiet selfish because they were accustomed to your explanations. There may be someone who reacts strongly when you stop doing what they should have been doing for themselves. Their reaction may be uncomfortable. It is not always evidence that you made the wrong choice. A limit often reveals what a relationship was depending upon. If closeness only works when you abandon your needs, the closeness was already costing too much. If peace only exists when you remain silent, the peace was not shared. If love only remains while you carry both people, the relationship is not being carried equally. You deserve to know this. You deserve relationships where care moves in both directions. You deserve conversations where your words are considered. You deserve to feel safe enough to be honest. You deserve support that does not have to be earned through exhaustion. These desires are not excessive. They are human. The boat does not prove its worth by carrying more weight than it was designed to hold. It does not become better by remaining overloaded. Too much weight changes how it meets the water. It sits lower. Movement becomes harder. Every change feels more dangerous. This may be how you have felt. You carried your responsibilities. Then you carried other people's reactions to your responsibilities. You carried what happened. Then you carried everyone's opinion about what happened. You carried the decision. Then you carried the fear that someone would misunderstand and the decision. You carried grief. Then you carried shame for still feeling grief. You carried tiredness. Then you carried guilt for needing rest. No wonder movement felt frightening. You were not only afraid of the water, you were carrying too much into it. Some of what you carry may still be necessary. Real commitments matter. Children need care. Work may require effort. Bills require attention. Bodies require practical support. Promises should be honored when they remain healthy and possible. Placing down control does not remove these realities. It asks you to stop adding imagined duties to real ones. You may need to complete a task. You do not need to attack yourself while completing it. You may need to have a difficult conversation. You do not need to rehearse it for 10 hours. You may need to wait for a decision. You do not need to pause your entire life while waiting. You may need to support someone. You do not need to become responsible for every choice they make. You may need to correct a mistake. You do not need to turn the mistake into an identity. The real duty is often smaller than the fear around it. Fear adds weight. It says that one mistake will ruin everything. It says that one person's disappointment means you have failed. It says that one delay proves the future is closed. It says that one conflict means love is ending. It says that one difficult feeling will never pass. Return the situation to its actual size. This is one task. This is one conversation. This is one choice. This is one season. This is one feeling. You do not have to carry it as the whole of your life. The boat meets one part of the water at a time. It does not touch the entire distance in one moment. It responds to what is beneath it now. Your life also arrives this way. 1 hour, one phone call, one form, one boundary, one meal, one act of rest, one request for help. The mind may travel far ahead, but your body remains here. Bring your care back to where action is possible. Ask what belongs to this moment, not next month, not every possible result. This moment. There may be one clear action. Take it. There may be no useful action. Then stop inventing one. This can be one of the hardest practices for a person who has survived through constant doing. Inaction can feel dangerous even when it is wise. You may interpret waiting as weakness. You may interpret stillness as failure. You may believe that if you are not actively solving something, you are neglecting it. Yet there are situations where repeated action becomes interference. A message has been sent. The other person needs space to answer. An application has been submitted. The process now belongs to people you cannot control. A medical concern has been taken to an appropriate professional. The next step may be following guidance and waiting for more information. A boundary has been stated. The next truth will come through behavior, not another speech. A decision has been made. The nervous system may need time to catch up. Your task is not always to do more. Sometimes your task is to remain present without reaching again for the rope. This presence may feel exposed. Without constant action, you can feel what is underneath. You may feel fear. You may feel sadness. You may feel anger. You may feel longing. You may feel the emptiness left by an old habit. The urge to control often returns strongest when an emotion feels difficult to hold. You may reach for the phone. You may search for information. You may reopen a conversation. You may say yes to something you do not want. You may offer help no one asked for. Not because the action is needed, because the feeling feels unbearable. See this with tenderness. The goal is not to judge the urge. The goal is to recognize what it is trying to do. It is trying to move you away from discomfort. Instead of acting immediately, give the feeling a little company. Name it without making it permanent. This is fear. This is disappointment. This is loneliness. This is uncertainty. This is grief. The feeling may remain, but naming it can stop it from disguising itself as an emergency. You can ask, does this emotion require action, or does it require care? Sometimes it requires action. Fear may be warning you about a real danger. Anger may be showing you a crossed line. Sadness may tell you that support is needed. Listen carefully, then decide from clarity rather than panic. At other times, the feeling does not need a solution. It needs to be felt in a safe way. It may need a conversation with someone you trust. It may need writing. It may need movement. It may need rest. It may need professional care. It may need time. There is wisdom in knowing when a feeling is information and when it is weather passing through the body. You do not need to obey every feeling. You also do not need to deny it. You can make room without handing over the direction. The boat may move on unsettled water. It does not become the water. It remains itself while responding. You can remain yourself inside an emotion. You are not fear. Fear is present. You are not grief. Grief is present. You are not uncertainty. Uncertainty is present. The language matters. It reminds you that the experience is part of this moment, not your whole identity. The more often you remain present without immediately tightening the rope, the more your body learns. It learns that discomfort can rise and lower. It learns that an unanswered message can remain unanswered for a while. It learns that another person's disappointment does not remove your worth. It learns that a boundary can feel painful and still be right. It learns that longing does not require pursuit. It learns that you can want something without leaving yourself behind to obtain it. This is deep work. It may look ordinary from the outside. No one may applaud the message you did not send. No one may see the hour you spent not read, earning to an old pattern. No one may know how difficult it was to say no without explaining every reason. No one may recognize the courage required to ask for help. Your body knows. Your future self will know. Each small act changes what becomes possible next. The hand that practices loosening becomes more familiar with openness. The mind that practices pausing becomes less ruled by urgency. The heart that practices self-respect becomes less willing to chase what repeatedly wounds it. There may be grief in this growth. You may miss the familiar dock even when it was limiting. Familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar freedom. At least familiar pain has known edges. You know how to behave there. You know what to expect. You know which part of yourself to hide. A new direction asks you to discover who you are without constant strain. That can feel surprisingly uncomfortable. You may ask, who am I if I am not fixing everyone? Who am I if I stop proving? Who am I if I am not waiting? Who am I if I no longer chase this answer? These questions are natural. An old identity may have formed around being needed, being strong, being patient, being forgiving, or being the one who stays. Placing down the role can feel like losing part of yourself. But you are not losing your caring nature. You are learning to include yourself in your care. You are not losing strength. You are learning that strength also knows when to stop. You are not becoming less loving. You are becoming less willing to confuse love with self-erasure. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. Clarity may feel unfamiliar when you have spent years explaining away what hurt. You may have told yourself that someone did not mean it. You may have told yourself that they were struggling. You may have told yourself that you should be more patient. All of these things may be true. Someone can be struggling and still cause harm. Someone can have good intentions and still be unsafe for you. Someone can love you in the only way they know and still be unable to offer the kind of relationship you need. Two truths can exist together. You can recognize their humanity. You can protect your own. You do not need to turn another person into a villain in order to choose distance. You do not need everyone to agree that your pain was valid before responding to it. You do not need a perfect explanation. Your experience is information. Your body's repeated response is information. Patterns are information. Use that information wisely. Do not use it to punish. Use it to choose. This is how peace becomes practical. It is not only a calm feeling, it becomes a way of responding. You stop returning to conversations that only repeat the same wound. You stop asking closed people for open-hearted answers. You stop offering endless access where there is no responsibility. You stop spending today trying to receive yesterday's apology. You stop making your future depend on someone else becoming ready. These endings may hurt, but hurt and wrong are not the same. A choice can be painful and still be healthy. A goodbye can be sad and still be necessary. A pause can feel lonely and still protect you. Waiting can be uncomfortable and still be wiser than forcing. The boat may leave the dock with tears still present. Movement does not require emotional perfection. You do not have to feel brave every moment. You only need enough honesty to take the next right step. The step may be outward, a call, a conversation, a boundary, a departure. The step may be inward, stopping the replay, refusing self-blame, accepting what another person has shown, choosing not to check, letting today remain unanswered. Both kinds of movement matter. Sometimes no one else sees the inner one, but every outer change begins with something loosening inside. You stop arguing with what you know. You stop asking fear to approve your choice. You stop demanding that certainty arrive before self-respect. This is not harshness. It is freedom from the endless meeting in your mind where every possibility must agree. Not every part of you will agree at first. One part may want movement. Another may want the familiar edge. One part may understand. Another may still hope for a different answer. You do not have to remove the conflict before moving carefully. You can say, "A part of me is afraid, and I can still choose what supports me." You can say, "A part of me misses the old pattern, and I do not have to return." You can say, "A part of me wants another sign, and the evidence I have is enough for today." This is a respectful way to guide yourself. You do not silence the fearful part. You stop letting it make every decision. The more respectfully you lead yourself, the less force is needed. This may be a good moment to create a small ritual of placing down. Nothing dramatic, nothing complicated. At the end of a difficult day, you might sit quietly and name one thing that is complete for now. "I have done what I can today." Then name one thing that belongs beyond your hands. The response is not mine to control. Then return to the central words. "I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me." This can become a quiet practice whenever the grip returns. If these words are helping you remember that distinction, save this reflection as your surrender ritual and return to it on the days when your hands begin closing around what time must carry. Then continue with your day. Do not remain in the ritual for hours. Its purpose is not to create another task. It is a brief return, a reminder that care can end for the day even when the story has not ended. A reminder that you can be responsible without remaining mentally tied. A reminder that your worth is not waiting on an answer. There may be a great deal of relief in declaring something complete for now, not complete forever. Complete for now. This phrase gives the mind a boundary. You can return tomorrow if action is needed. You can review when new information arrives. You can reconsider when the situation changes. For now, the work is placed down. This protects you from trying to live every day at once. You do not have to solve tomorrow tonight. You do not have to prepare for a conversation that has not been scheduled. You do not have to answer a question that has not been asked. You do not have to defend a decision to people who are not present. For now, these two words can hold great mercy. They do not deny responsibility. They give responsibility a time and place. You may have lived as though every unfinished matter had permission to enter every hour. Work entered meals. Relationship uncertainty entered rest. Tomorrow entered today. The past entered every quiet moment. No wonder peace felt distant. Your mind had no closed door. You can begin creating one, not a door against truth, a door against endless access. You can say, "I will think about this at the time I have chosen." You can say, "I will respond after I have rested." You can say, "I have already answered." You can say, "This concern does not get the whole evening." These sentences are boundaries with your own attention. Attention is part of your life. Where you place it matters. Not every thought deserves repeated attention. Not every fear deserves investigation. Not every possible future deserves rehearsal. You can decide that one thought has already been heard. It may return. You can answer it without reopening the entire discussion. I know you are afraid. I have taken the useful step. There is nothing more to do now. The thought may return 10 minutes later. Answer again without anger. Old habits often test new limits. Consistency teaches them. The same is true with other people. A boundary may need to be repeated. You can repeat it without creating a new explanation each time. No, I cannot do that. I am not available. I have made my decision. I will discuss this when the conversation can remain respectful. A clear boundary does not need endless decoration. The more explanation you provide, the more material someone may use to debate your right to choose. Your no can be complete. Your pause can be complete. Your decision can be complete for now. There is peace in completion. Not the completion of every life problem, the completion of your present part. This is what frees the hands. You no longer stand at the dock performing work that has already been finished. You no longer pull the boat toward a place it is already beside. You stop spending strength on what pressure cannot improve. The rope becomes loose enough to move through your fingers. There may still be contact. There may still be memory. There may still be concern. But the strain is changing. You are no longer using your whole body to prevent movement. You begin to sense that the water can hold you even when you do not know its next direction. This confidence does not arrive as one permanent feeling. It may come and go. Some days you will remember. Some days the old urgency will return quickly. Do not measure your growth by whether fear visits. Measure it by how you meet fear when it arrives. Do you immediately tighten every rope? Or do you pause? Do you ask what is truly yours? Do you take one practical step? Do you seek appropriate help? Do you stop after your part is complete? That is the practice, not perfection. Practice. The boat does not need to master the entire water at once. It needs to respond to what is present. You do not need to master uncertainty. You need to meet this moment with honesty. There may be moments when you choose to tie the boat again. You may need stability during a real crisis. You may need routine while recovering. You may need clear support. You may need to reduce decisions and remain near what feels known for a time. This is not failure. Wisdom knows when to move and when to pause. The difference is that the choice becomes conscious. You are not tied because fear has made the decision without you. You choose what supports health, safety, and clarity. You can rest near the dock without believing you must remain there forever. You can move without believing you can never return. Freedom includes choice. It does not demand constant motion. Some seasons are active, some are quiet, some require repair, some require waiting, some ask you to accept help, Some ask you to act alone for a short time. Perfect timing is not a fixed schedule created by your mind. It is the meeting of readiness, reality, and wise response. You may not always understand it while living through it. Understanding often comes later. For now, you do not have to call the timing perfect. You only need to stop making war with the fact that this is the moment you have. This moment can be met. It can be cared for. It can be survived. It can be lived. You are not behind your own life. You are inside it. Even here, even before the answer, even after the ending, even while learning how to move differently. Your life is not waiting for you at some distant point where everything is solved. It is here, asking to be inhabited. Drink the water, eat the meal, answer the honest task. Rest the body, speak to someone safe. Step outside, return to what is real. These acts are not small when worry has pulled you away from yourself. They are how you come back. The boat is not carried by staring at the horizon. It is carried through contact with what is beneath it. Your life is not lived by predicting every future. It is lived through contact with this day. This day may be incomplete. It is still yours. This moment may contain uncertainty. It still contains you. Your hands are becoming lighter. The rope is no longer the only thing you feel. There is movement beneath you. There is strength within you. There is support you can seek. There is reality you can face. There is care you can give yourself. The old fear may remain nearby. It no longer has to steer. You are learning the difference between being held and being stuck. You are learning the difference between waiting and abandoning yourself. You are learning the difference between love and overwork. You are learning the difference between responsibility and strain. These differences will protect your peace. They will protect your energy. They will help you recognize what deserves your effort and what deserves to be placed down. The knot is looser now. The dock is still visible. The water continues beneath you. Nothing needs to be forced in this moment. Your part can be complete for now. You have reached the place where understanding can become experience. The mind has listened. The heart has remembered why it held so tightly. The hands have discovered that the rope was never carrying the full weight. Now the body can be included. You do not need to make anything happen. You do not need to create a special feeling. You do not need to prove that you are calm. The body may soften. It may remain guarded. It may move between the two. Every honest response belongs here. For so long, your body may have been the quiet keeper of unfinished moments. It held the conversations that never found an ending. It held tomorrow's tasks before tomorrow arrived. It held the fear that relaxing would make you less prepared. The mind created the thought. The body carried its weight. A thought about the future became pressure in the chest. A thought about another person became tightness in the jaw. A thought about a decision became heaviness in the stomach. A thought about being left became tension in the hands. The body tried to help. It prepared for action. It stayed ready. It held the rope even when no movement was required. There is nothing foolish about this. The body responds to what it believes is happening. If the mind repeats danger, the body prepares for danger. If the mind repeats urgency, the body prepares to hurry. If the mind repeats that everything depends on you, the body begins carrying everything as though that statement were true. You are offering it another message now. Not everything depends on this moment. Not every question requires an immediate answer. Not every feeling requires action. Not every open ending is a threat. Not every movement must be controlled. The body may need to hear this many times. Let repetition be care rather than pressure. You are not demanding that it change. You are showing it that another position exists. The boat has moved far enough from the dock to feel the water beneath its whole shape. It is no longer pressed against the wooden edge. The rope may still be nearby, but it is not pulled tight. For a moment, there is no need to decide the destination. There is only the experience of being supported without strain. The boat rises slightly, then lowers. It responds to movement without resisting every change. Nothing about this response is weak. The boat is not helpless because the water moves it. It remains present. It remains whole. It meets each small motion through its own design. Your body also knows how to respond. It can breathe without your direction. It can shift its weight. It can rest when rest is welcomed. It can alert you when care is needed. It can receive support. You may have spent so much time directing the body that you have forgotten it has wisdom of its own. You tell the shoulders to relax. You tell the breath to deepen. You tell the mind to stop. Then you become frustrated when these commands create more effort. Try another way. Do less. Give the out-breath a little more room. Do not pull air from the body. Let the air complete its own departure. The out-breath is not a performance. It is a small placing down. The body already knows the movement. Air enters. Air leaves. No breath remains because it is afraid another will not come. It completes itself. Then the next one arrives. You can borrow this rhythm. You do not have to empty your whole life. Only complete this out-breath. You do not have to solve the whole future. Only remain for the next breath. You do not have to open every hand. Only stop tightening the one you can feel. The body may respond slowly. That is all right. A long-held rope leaves its memory in the hands. The fingers may still curve after the pressure is gone. The wrists may still feel the work they were doing. Let the body learn through the absence of demand. Nothing is being taken from you. You are being returned to yourself. Begin where the holding often becomes visible. The hands. They have typed the messages. They have held the phone. They have completed the tasks. They have reached toward people. They have closed around the things you feared losing. They have done enough for this moment. As you breathe out, your hands no longer need to grip what time must carry. The arms have supported more than physical weight. They have carried responsibilities, plans, and invisible duties. Let them rest beside you or where they naturally fall. As you breathe out, your arms place down the work that is complete for now. The shoulders may have been living close to the ears, ready to protect, ready to respond, ready to carry another request. They do not have to fall dramatically. A small lowering is enough. As you breathe out, your shoulders return the extra weight to life. The face has worked hard too. The brow has searched for answers. The eyes have watched for change. The jaw has held words, anger, fear, and effort. As you breathe out, your face no longer has to prepare for every possible moment. The chest may be protecting a tender place. Do not force it open. Let it know that protection can soften without disappearing. As you breathe out, your chest makes room for support beside uncertainty. The belly may have tightened around decisions, waiting, and feelings that did not seem safe to express. Let it be exactly as it is while the breath moves through. As you breathe out, your belly stops carrying tomorrow before it arrives. The legs have kept you moving through days when you wanted to stop. They have stood inside conversations, duties, and long periods of waiting. As you breathe out, your legs remember that stillness can also be wise. The feet have carried you across every path that brought you here. They do not need to know the whole distance ahead. As you breathe out, your feet rest in the part of life that is here now. Remain for one ordinary breath. Nothing has to become perfect. A thought may still pass through. Let it pass without following it toward the dock. The mind may remember a task. If it is useful, you can return to it later. The mind may remember a person. You do not need to enter their thoughts. The mind may ask how the story ends. The ending is not present yet. This moment is. You are not failing because the concern remains. You are changing the way it is carried. Feelings may stay. Assignments can go. You may still love someone. You do not have to manage their path. You may still want an answer. You do not have to hold your whole body around the waiting. You may still care about your goal. You do not have to measure your worth by its timing. You may still remember the past. You do not have to reopen it as a daily duty. The rope and the love are not the same. The rope and the dream are not the same. The rope and responsibility are not the same. You can loosen the rope without denying what matters. This is where many people become afraid. They believe that if pain becomes lighter, the love was not real. They believe that if they stop replaying, they are forgetting. They believe that if they become peaceful, they are approving what happened. Peace does not approve harm. Distance does not erase love. A boundary does not rewrite the past. Feeling better does not betray the person you once were. You are permitted to stop carrying pain as evidence that something mattered. It mattered because it mattered. It does not need your suffering to remain true. You can honor what was good without returning to what became harmful. You can remember without remaining mentally tied. You can carry wisdom forward without carrying the whole wound. You can wish that events had been different and still begin living from what is real. Your peace is not a verdict on the past. It is care for the life that remains. If you are in danger, being harmed, or facing a situation that requires skilled assistance, placing inner inner strain should support practical action, not replace it. Reach towards safety. Speak to someone qualified. Use the support available to you. You do not have to stay in the water alone when guidance is needed. You do not have to prove strength by refusing help. A boat may need another hand. It may need repair. It may need direction through an unfamiliar passage. Receiving help does not make it less capable. It helps it continue. There is a form of control that says, I must do this alone. That rope can also be loosened. You may let another person know the truth. You may accept a practical suggestion. You may ask a professional to help you understand what comes next. You may let someone sit beside you while no answer is available. Support does not always solve the situation. Sometimes it changes the way you move through it. You no longer carry every part alone. This matters. The handover is not from responsibility into helplessness. It is from isolation into relationship. Relationship with yourself. Relationship with wise support. Relationship with time. Relationship with the parts of life you cannot command. You remain present. You remain discerning. You remain able to choose. The water does not erase the boat's shape. It supports that shape while movement occurs. Life does not ask you to disappear. It asks you to stop believing that strain is your only strength. There is strength in clear action. There is strength in waiting after action. There is strength in asking for help. There is strength in accepting a closed answer. There is strength in changing direction. There is strength in resting before the next decision. There is strength in letting another person carry their own consequences. There is strength in not answering every invitation to conflict. You have more than one kind of strength. The hardest kind may be the one that does not look dramatic. The strength to leave the phone alone. The strength to stop explaining. The strength to feel longing without pursuing what is unavailable. The strength to let a quiet day remain quiet. The strength to continue living before certainty arrives. The strength to give time its proper work. That strength is here. It may be small. Small is enough. The first distance from the dock may be no wider than a hand. It still changes the pressure on the rope. One honest moment changes the old pattern. One evening in which you stop checking changes the pattern. 1. No that remains no changes the pattern. One request for support changes the pattern. One act of care that includes you changes the pattern. You are not required to transform the whole life in this hour. You are practicing a new way of meeting one moment. Let the central words return, not as a guarantee, not as a demand, as the position you are choosing again. I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me. You may believe the words today. You may only want to believe them. Both can begin movement. I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me. The hands do not need complete certainty. They need permission to stop closing tighter. I loosen control. Perfect timing carries me. Now let the words become shorter. Let each line place one small weight into the care of time. There is no need to analyze each one. Some will feel true, some will feel distant. Let them pass through without effort. I place down what is not mine. I stop carrying every outcome. I honor the part I have done. I give time its rightful work. I leave other people their choices. I keep my care without the strain. I can want without chasing. I can wait without abandoning myself. I can pause before I respond. I can ask for wise support. I can act without owning the result. I can stop after my part is complete. I return another person's feelings to them. I return tomorrow to tomorrow. I return the past to the past. I remain with myself today. I am not behind my life. I am here before the answer. I am worthy during the waiting. I do not need to prove my exhaustion. I do not confuse worry with love. I do not confuse tension with care. I listen to what reality shows me. I protect my peace with clear choices. I accept help when help is wise. I make room for another direction. I stop forcing closed answers. I stop rehearsing imagined endings. I let silence reveal what words cannot. I let actions become information. I let my body leave its guard. I let this moment be enough. I choose the next honest step. I choose dignity over pursuit. I choose care without control. I choose peace without denial. I am learning to be carried. I am willing to move. I am willing to wait. I am willing to receive. I loosen one knot. I soften my hands. I stop pulling. I stop chasing. I stop bracing. I choose support. I choose truth. I choose peace. I am carried. I am here. React Time 2.0's. The lines have become quiet. Let the quiet remain ordinary. You do not have to search it for a sign. You do not have to measure how peaceful you feel. The practice has already happened. Your hands were invited to soften. Your body was reminded that the present is smaller than every imagined future. Your heart was told that love can remain without strain. Your mind was shown that responsibility has an edge. Beyond that edge, more thinking is not always more care. You may return to your day with some questions unanswered. That is not a failure of this moment. The goal was never to create certainty. It was to stop demanding that uncertainty live inside every part of you. The question may remain. The jaw can still soften. The answer may remain delayed. The shoulders can still lower. Another person may remain unchanged. Your boundary can still become clear. The future may remain open. Your next step can still be honest. This is how peace travels with you. It does not wait for every condition to cooperate. It becomes a small inner space that conditions do not fully occupy. You may carry that space into a conversation. You may carry it while completing a task. You may carry it through a period of waiting. You may forget it for several hours. Then one breath may bring it back. You have not lost the practice when you forget. The boat may move closer to the dock again. It may drift. it may need to adjust. Freedom is not one permanent distance. It is the absence of a knot that says movement is forbidden. You are permitted to adjust. You are permitted to reconsider. You are permitted to learn. You are permitted to make a new choice when new information arrives. You are permitted to change your direction without calling the earlier direction a waste. Every part of the passage can teach you. The dock taught stability. The rope taught preparation. The knot taught how fear tries to protect. The water teaches support without control. The movement teaches response. Nothing needs to be rejected. Its purpose can be completed. You may thank an old habit without continuing it. You helped me stay prepared. You helped me survive. You helped me feel less helpless. And now I am learning another way. This is a respectful ending. The habit may return. You can greet it without giving it the rope. You can say, "I know why you are here." Then ask what is actually needed. A practical step. Take it. A clear boundary. Keep it. Qualified help. Seek it. Nothing useful to do? Let the moment remain open. The absence of action is not always emptiness. It may be where timing is working beyond your view. It may be where another person reveals their choice. It may be where your body recovers. It may be where clearer judgment becomes available. You do not need to call the waiting beautiful. You only need to stop turning it into self-punishment. Feed yourself during it. Rest during it. Speak honestly during it. Continue living during it. The waiting is part of life. It is not a room outside life. You are still becoming. You are still choosing. You are still worthy. You are still held by more than your effort. The water continues beneath you, whether the surface is quiet or moving. The boat does not need to repeat the lesson every second. Its weight is already being met. Let that become the final understanding. Your weight is being met, not by one perfect person, not by one promised outcome, not by the guarantee that nothing painful will happen. It is met through your own presence, through support you can seek, through time that changes what seems fixed, through truth that becomes clearer, through the next step that appears when it is needed, through your right to stop, through your ability to begin again. You are not standing alone at the pier trying to move the whole water. You are inside life. Life is moving with you. There may be places where you steer. There may be places where you wait. There may be places where you ask another hand for help. There may be places where you accept that the desired direction is no longer available. In every place, you can remain faithful to yourself. That is the vow beneath all the words. Not that everything will happen exactly as you wish. Not that time will obey your preferred schedule. Not that uncertainty will disappear. The vow is that you will no longer abandon yourself in order to control what cannot be controlled. You will act where action is yours. You will seek help where help is wise. You will stop when your part is complete. You will remain present while life carries the rest. Let the vow take its final form. I release the rope. Life carries me. The dock can remain behind you without becoming your enemy. The water can move beneath you without becoming a threat. You can respect what once protected you and still choose another relationship with life. The day ahead does not need a perfect version of you. It needs the version who is here. The version who can pause. The version who can choose. The version who can ask for help. The version who can place down one unnecessary weight. The version who can stop pulling after enough has been done. Carry this into whatever comes next, not as another rule, not as another task. As a quiet position inside yourself, your hands belong to the present. Your effort belongs where it can help. Your attention belongs to the life that is here. The rest can remain in motion. Life is holding you now. Move through this day. The water already knows your weight.